Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my autumn favorites or fall favorites depending on where you are in the world. I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite products, my favorite fragrances for this glorious autumn time of year. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I've included mostly makeup today, but I have also thrown in 3 autumnal perfect fragrances. I tend to typically wear whatever fragrance I like year round, but I feel like autumn is a very special time of year for perfumes because it's still warm enough that fragrances perform nicely on our skin. We're not freezing cold just yet, or some days, but not all the days. But it's not so warm that the fragrances are heating up out of control and becoming too much and too stifling and too cloying like they can in summer months. So I feel like we get the freedom back in autumn to wear whatever perfumes we want without worrying about them becoming too sickly, too sweet, too much in the hotter months of summer. So kicking us off, it's Mancera's Amore Caffe. I mean, the name pretty much says it all. This is the most stunning. I'm sitting in a very luxurious, high-end, sophisticated coffee shop, maybe with an amaretti biscuit because there is a gorgeous amaretto note in the top of this fragrance, along of course with that coffee note. There's then ice cream and vanilla in the middle, vanilla again in the base, and it's joined with brown sugar and ambergris as the base notes, and that together just makes the most warming coffee note with the almondy kick. If you like amaretto as much as I do on the rocks, or even better, if you love an affogato, this is affogato in a fragrance. The coffee note in here is just unbelievable, and who doesn't love sitting in your favorite coffee shop over the autumn months, people watching with a cozy jumper on, wearing this? You'll feel like that's where you are. Next up on my perfect autumn fragrances, we have Bianco Latte, a very viral fragrance. The hype is kind of calming down a little bit and moving on now, but for a while, this is all I heard about on TikTok, and it lives up to the hype. This is like a gourmand fragrance for grown-ups. It has the most beautiful caramelly goodness in here. Top note of caramel, middle note is coumarin and honey, and then in the base we have vanilla and white musk, and this is a room filler. In the summer months I don't wear this at all because it just is going to be one of those that becomes way too much, too cloying. In spring and autumn this becomes this really boozy caramel, really warming, sweet but not sickly sweet, not overwhelmingly sweet, and just the most edible, delightful fragrance. This is a room filler. I take my daughter to dance lessons on a Saturday, and I actually made a friend because of this fragrance, because she was like, what are you wearing? I can smell that you have arrived before I see you, and it's just so beautiful and also maybe a little bit tropical as well. Perfect for these cooler autumnal months when you want something to warm your cockles. And finally, we have something a little lighter than the other two. This is Nishane's 100 Silent Ways X, the extract version. And this is so beautiful, a little lighter. Definitely you could wear this in the summer months, unlike the other two. I would say this one is a year-round fragrance. What I love so much about this for autumn is that leather note. So this is a little sweet. We have some fruity notes in the opening, the middle is full of white florals, and then the base note we have leather, vanilla and patchouli, and it's that leather note in there that makes this feel autumnal to me. I read somewhere someone saying, if you imagine someone wearing 100 Silent Ways, the original very sweet fragrance, but they're wearing a leather jacket, that's what this smells like. The most beautiful, stunning, perfect leather note in here that I've ever smelled. And that for me, again, leather jacket feels very autumnal to me. And that's exactly how this smells like. You put on this gorgeous, sweet fruity floral fragrance and you're wearing a really expensive leather jacket, and that's what this smells like. Not as warming and as spicy as the other two, a little lighter and fruitier, but so perfect for autumn. So moving on to the makeup. So in autumn, again, makeup, I feel like you get your freedom back. In summer, I have to go a bit careful on how glowy I make my skin, because obviously with summer months and glow on your skin, you might get a little perspiry, okay? Glow might turn into wetness and you may end up looking too shiny or a little sweaty throughout the day. So I kind of have to calm down slightly on the glowy products in summer. But once autumn hits and the temperatures drop and it's not so humid, I go all in with the glow. So a foundation I am loving at the moment that is as glowy as they come is this new Patrick Tart foundation. It's a little more natural on the coverage as well, sort of light to medium coverage, so you can get like that gorgeous glowy skin shine through, and it wears really nicely, but it's not like completely impenetrable. So in the summer months, again, it's going to get that little bit too shiny if you don't set it. It might not wear as well as some other more natural finish foundations. This being super duper glowy, it's going to wear perfectly well on me in the autumn without me having to set it and getting all of this gorgeous glow still coming through. And it's not going to look like I'm sweating, because who is sweating in England in September and October, okay? Not me. Gorgeous foundation and perfect for what I look for, especially when I don't have to worry about it getting too shiny throughout the day. Now, eyeshadow. I feel like eyeshadow is something that feels quite seasonal to me. You know, foundation's not really, concealer's obviously not. But when it comes to products that I think sort of go in seasons, eyeshadows is right up there. I definitely start leaning towards warmer tones, leaning towards those sort of chocolatey colours, leaning towards all of the colours that sort of suit the autumn palette. And one of the newer palettes in my collection that I think is the perfect autumn palette is the new Fawn palette from Lisa Eldridge. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and all I did was take some of the middle matte up here and a little bit of the shimmer on the lid, and I felt like I was good to go, and I was feeling very chocolatey, very hot chocolate, very warm, very perfect for autumn. This is very versatile. You can go as heavy-handed and use as many shades as you like, keep it simple, or use them all and go super smoky. I feel like everything in here works beautifully for autumn without being orangey or red or too copper. These are all quite neutral. They're right down the middle, and so regardless of what you do, it's not going to feel like too warm, which for me is something I don't like in my eyeshadows. I like something a little more neutral leaning, and this color palette for me is exactly what I like to wear in autumn. And again, it doesn't feel like it's a bit out of place or it's too evening-y. Once autumn hits, these sort of deeper browns and those autumnal tones are perfect no matter the time of day or the occasion. I feel like we can go a little smokier and a little more like nighttime, a little more soft glam in the daytime once autumn hits, whereas in summer we're all supposed to be wearing peaches. But you know, we do what we like anyway, no one can change us. Another perfect palette in a similar vein to the Lisa Eldridge Fawn is Natasha Denona's I Need a Warm. Obviously this is a warm palette, but it does lean more so towards the neutral overall. I would say we've got a lot more shades in here than in the Lisa Eldridge, so if you just want the more shades to work with, this is your perfect autumnal palette. Stays neutral, there's not a lot of sort of greens or anything else that like bronzes that kind of feel autumnal as well. It's a very neutral, earthy tones palette, lots of browns, lots of lovely neutral mattes, lots of shimmers to choose from. Some of my favorites, homey, snug, I could go on. I love this soft spot matte, perfect for like a one and done. The Phenomena shade, which is a bit of a duochrome. Again, you can make this as exciting or as everyday as you like, depending on what you use. This Phenomena shade does have a bit of a green shift, so bonus points if you want to be a little bit more exciting than me. But these two palettes are like my everyday palettes for the foreseeable future. So the other eyeshadow option, if you are more of a one and done type of person, which I definitely am in the mood for a one and done every now and then, the perfect autumnal one and done shadows just dropped from Lisa Eldridge. These silky shadows are so perfect. The two shades I want to talk about today specifically are Gaia and Tahlia. These two shades that I thought I won't use. I almost gave these to my mum, but I'm going to have to buy her own because I can't give these away now. And I thought I wouldn't use these because they are quite rich and quite deep, and I was a bit scared of them, but I have been non-stop using these. In fact, Tahlia has become my favorite single, like one and done of all of the new shades. So I just literally do a dot, one dot of these on the eye and just blend, and they blend so beautifully and they diffuse so unbelievably easily that they end up being these super wearable. Do you see how autumnal these shades are? Let me just show you them up close. So the browner shade is Gaia, and then the more sort of reddish shade is Tahlia, and they are just the perfect fall colours. So beautiful, either of these, and literally for my skin tone, a dot, and they will blend out perfectly for a beautiful, softer wash. And on mature eyes, as I said in my review of these, they're so smooth and flattering, and they will take you seconds. And you could even do it without a brush. Absolutely perfect. Run it along the lower lash line for extra bonus points. They are an absolute game changer, especially if you don't feel confident with eyeshadow. They're going to do it for you. Another little touch that I love in autumn is a bit of liner. Now this is Lisa Eldridge again. She is a genius. Most of my products are from her, are my favorites. This is the shade Ground Coffee, and this is a really rich, deep brown. So I have this in my waterline, and I also tight lined my upper lid with this shade today. I never really use a liner in like spring and summer, but in autumn, even just today, I barely did eyeshadow. A little bit of a matte shade in the crease and then some shimmer on the lid is all I did. But then I feel like when I added this pencil, it became more autumnal. It became warmer, smokier, a little bit more sort of just smoky and sultry, which is very autumn to me, and I just love this. It's so easy to use. You can do a very basic eyeshadow look like I did today, add this, and it's going to look smokier, warmer, cozier. Perfect for autumn. This shade is so much softer than a black, but still quite rich, that I find it really flattering as well. Even on the lower waterline, which I know we're supposed to say, oh, we were supposed to stop doing that in the 90s because it makes our eyes smaller, but it can look so beautiful. And because it's that bit softer than black, I find it a lot more flattering and less harsh. Now, cheek products are really, for me, where we bring in a seasonal effect or color to our look. One of my favorite items that come out every year at the beginning of autumn are these Hourglass holiday palettes, and this year the Lotus Flower color story. Remember that I keep the color story and the packaging together. I don't customize anything, so it's easier for you to see. Remember that I keep the color story and the artwork together as they kind of originally are. I haven't moved anything around. So this is the original Lotus Flower color story, and oh my goodness, just look at these colors. This is such an autumnal palette, isn't it? This literally looks like a huge pile of the most gorgeous autumnal leaves that have fallen. All of these shades are utterly perfect for this time of the year. Glorious, warm, soft, comforting shades. This is the palette I used today. I mixed the two, like bronzer and the ambient lighting powder together. For my bronzer today, I used this blush, and then I used the new Gucci highlighter. So I didn't use the highlighter in here today. But you know, all of these shades just scream hot chocolate and a biscuit. That's what it's saying to me, okay? There's caramel tones in there. There's the most gorgeous, warmer, sort of neutral shades in there to work with as well. I'm loving this palette, even though my skin tone is more of a medium and this is the deeper palette. I can use everything in here and it all is so gorgeous, and it really makes me feel like we're warming up for Christmas now. Don't say the C word. I know some of you get very, very angry if we mention it before November. But I'm a Christmas in September kind of girl. Another sort of cheek palette that I feel works very, very well for autumn is the Chanel. This is the shade Medium Rose Gold. And again, those rose golds, although not a traditional sort of autumnal color palette, the highlighter in here is really soft and subtle. And it's really nice and warm and almost caramelly. And again, the bronzer, super beautiful, not too warm, kind of a toasted hot chocolate shade, along with that gloriously subtle but glowy rose gold blush. I feel like this is something a little different. It's not so obviously autumn, but it's really pretty and it's still warming and it's soft and subtle and very easy to wear year round, but it's something that I love to use this time of year because it is more subtle. It's easier for me to use on my winter skin tone. Such a gorgeous palette. Beautiful year round, but something I was especially excited to use as my skin tone gets lighter in these cooler months. And next, while we're here, I want to talk about this nail varnish. Of course, it's OPI and it is Claydreaming. It's just absolutely perfect for autumn. Again, it isn't like an autumn, it's not a chocolatey brown, it's not a green, it's this really rich, almost grayish purple and plum shade, but it feels so autumnal for me that I had to include it. I also have a couple of more obviously autumnal blushes to share with you. First up, one of my absolute favorites, Chanel Brume D'Or. It's caramel chocolatey goodness with a bit of a gold sheen to it. Literally, this is hot chocolate in a blush form. So beautiful if you're looking for hot chocolate cheeks, which I frankly am constantly looking for. This is a perfect shade. And again, we can go maximum glow now because we're not going to look like maybe we're just sweaty. Maybe we've been in the sun too long because we haven't seen it for a month. So go all out with the glow if you want to in the autumn months. But if you prefer something a bit more matte, the Dior Bronzed Glow shade from the Rosy Glow collection, this is the perfect slight little bit of luminosity, but mostly matte, but again, warm, caramelly, hot chocolatey tones. Look at those, just so beautiful. Don't know why it is that I become obsessed with hot chocolate tones in the autumn. I really never drink hot chocolate, but I want to look like a hot chocolate. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Probably not. For bronzer in the autumn, I'm going to be reaching for my tan lines from RMS. Again, we're going maximum glow. We don't need to hold back anymore. That 1st of September, I was straight back on maximum glow, but it's this more neutral undertone. Once we're into autumn, I'm not trying to look like I just came back from holiday. I've caught the sun, I've got a tan, I'm warming up the cheeks. I want to look a little more sculpted, a little more neutral, but as maximum glowy as I can be. And therefore, I'm reaching for RMS tan lines. It's the maximum glow, it leans more neutral, but gorgeously natural, and it's going to give you that sculpted bronze, which is what I love in the autumn months. I'm not trying to mimic that I've been on holiday or that I've got a tan anymore. That charade has gone. It's over. We have to let it go. But I am trying to look sculpted and give my face a little bit of oomph, a bit of lift, and that's the perfect bronzer. Finishing up with lipsticks, let's talk about the one on my lips first of all. This is one of Lisa Eldridge's Balm Embrace. This is the shade Metropolis, which looks terrifying in the bullet, but is in fact so wearable, and it has that sort of cooler undertone, that more, has she just been drinking a really thick, beautifully smooth hot chocolate and it's just stained her mouth, or is it Metropolis? Really comforting, hydrating formula on your lips. So if your lips are getting a bit dry as the weather gets a bit cold and the heating comes on and your lips just don't know whether to fall off your face or cry. They don't know which to do. So they're a little bit of a treatment, a balm on your lips, but that gorgeous chocolatey colour at the same time, but more wearable and less intimidating. If a more caramel look on the lips is up your street, my latest Chanel Coco Balm that I've been, or Coco Bloom I should say, that I have been non-stop raving about is shade 150 Ease, and this is a much warmer caramelly lip. You've been seeing me rocking this lip in many videos lately. And if you want to go a bit richer and deeper, full on pigment, full on gloss and shine, pick up one of the Candy Glazes. So this is the shade 14, and this is kind of like Metropolis, but really amped up the amount of pigment and the amount of colour and impact. Beautiful shade, perfect for evening, sultry looking lips. Again, high shine formula, nice and comfortable and hydrating on the lips, but a lot more pigmented. So if you're going for something more in the evening, go for this one. It's hot chocolate lips in a lipstick. So here we have them together: Lisa Eldridge Metropolis, Chanel 150 Ease, and the YSL Candy Glaze shade 14. And there you have it. Those are all of my autumn favorites when it comes to makeup, when it comes to fragrance, lipstick, blushes, etc. These are the products that I'm going to be grabbing for over the next few months. So please let me know what your favorites for autumn are, your favorite makeup, your favorite fragrances for this time of year. Let me know in the comment section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.